Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there's a lot going on. I'm going to take a drink of water and then we're going to get going. I found this interesting from Crypto Bull. Look at this chart that he did. He's talking about how there's showing the patterns of upward accumulation and then XRP explosions. This is a type of chart I don't think I've seen. But it's kind of interesting to look at, and he's showing that we're having upward accumulation right now. An explosion in XRP any second wouldn't surprise me. Now, my ETHgate witness spotlight. This morning I did Chris Dixon and Lowell Ness from A16Z and Perkins Coie. Today we'll do, in my next installment, is Mike Novogratz. So he would be a witness I would call because of this clip right here.
There are bigger decisions.
Remember, he was college roommates with Joseph Lubin of Consensus.
There are bigger decisions to make. You know, Bitcoin they've already kind of said it's not a security, okay? But Ethereum, they haven't ruled on yet. I bet dimes to donuts. They will say Ethereum probably was a security, but it's not anymore. And they're stuck because they were ahead. There is this group of tokens that were issued.
All right, we don't have to play all that, but he obviously he correctly predicted dimes to donuts that exactly what the Hinman speech would say. So I'd put him on the stand just to see if he happened to know anything that might help in understanding this whole Bill Hinman's thinking on Ethereum and decentralization and these things as securities. I think Mike Novogratz might be able to help. Today, Jerome Powell, he's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. There's a lot going on.
It is the Fed's job to bring inflation down to our 2% goal, and we will do so. We have tightened policy significantly over the past year. Although inflation has moved down from its peak, a welcome development, it remains too high. We are prepared to raise rates further if appropriate and intend to hold policy at a restrictive level until we are confident that inflation is moving sustainably down toward our objective. We are attentive to signs that the economy may not be cooling as expected. So far this year, GDP growth has come in above expectations and above its longer run trend. And recent readings on consumer spending have been especially robust. In addition, after decelerating sharply over the past 18 months, the housing sector is showing signs of picking back up. Additional evidence of persistently above trend growth could put further progress on inflation at risk and could warrant further tightening of monetary policy.
What an utter clown show. Check this out. ING is warning that Saudi Arabia's entry into the BRICs bloc could challenge the dollar's dominance in global trade over the long run. We are finally waking up. And Andy Schechtman, who's Gold Guy, he says, I have been screaming this for about 4 years on over 1,200 podcasts. In that time, I have found no source with information as timely and spot on as yours. I appreciate your efforts. And then we go to this. This is these guys out in the Middle East are now saying the Middle East will be Europe 2.0. And by the way, if you think Jerome Powell and all these people meeting in Jackson Hole are not discussing Bretton Woods 3.0 and the US dollar and the world reserve currency status, think again.
أنا أعتقد أن أوروبا الجديدة هي الشرق الأوسط. المملكة العربية السعودية في ال5 سنوات القادمة سوف تكون مختلفة تماما. البحرين سوف تكون مختلفة تماما. الكويت حتى قطر على خلافنا معاهم لديهم اقتصاد قوي سوف تكون مختلفة تماما بعد 5 سنوات. الإمارات، عمان، لبنان، الأردن، مصر، العراق والفرص التي لديها. إذا نجحنا في ال5 سنوات القادمة سوف تلتحق فينا دول أكثر، وسوف تكون النهضة القادمة في العالم في 30 سنة القادمة في الشرق الأوسط إن شاء الله. هذه حرب السعوديين، هذه حربي اللي أخوضها شخصيا، ولا أريد أن أفارق الحياة إلا وأرى الشرق الأوسط في مقدمة مصاف في العالم، وأعتقد أن هذا الهدف سوف يتحقق 100%.
الله يعطيك طول العمر يا سيدي.
The world's changing. You can see it right here before your eyes, folks. Okay, I was watching that and it reminded me of Dilip Rao on stage a few years back. He worked for Ripple, and it's a good reminder to all of you that we are the noise. Retail is the noise. And I also believe that we're living right through the turning point that he refers to here. Watch this.
All right. Look, we've got a few questions coming in. I want to get to a few of these. We've got 5 minutes. To Dilip, this question comes from the audience. Many people are using cryptos just to buy and sell and make quick gains out of it. Does it hurt the growth of cryptocurrencies, that usage for a quick buck?
So, I mean, it's kind of chicken and egg. You have to create a marketplace. And right now, we have about 150, 200 exchanges around the world that trade in XRP. A lot of it, as you say, is very shallow trading by individuals. And that is not the use case that we are pursuing. What we are pursuing is the use of XRP as a financial asset by sophisticated institutions as a bridging mechanism. So does this hurt or harm? Well, it creates a lot of noise. And, we certainly don't want that much noise, but we're waiting. And for example, this last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions who start to use it for wholesale, financial usage, that's when the turning point will come.
All right.
And I'm a proud member of the XRP, the retail noise. And I also believe that we're right in the middle of the XRP turning point. Now, today, and this sure does feel planned, it feels like a Bretton Woods 3.0 moment, because Christine Lagarde she's the European Central Bank, was with the IMF. She just happens to be over, and you'll recognize where she's sitting. You see that little wood fence right there? Listen to her, and then I'll remind you.
Hello to all of you, and I would like to share this magnificent panorama that is behind me. It is the setting of the Jackson Hole conference that takes place every year. It is a little bit like the Sintra of the West, except it's been around for longer. Many central bank governors, many academics, many experts in monetary policy and on the economy in general will be gathering for 2 days, and we will talk about the current situation, the major shifts that we are seeing, the major breaks, and how we can best respond with good policies that will actually help bring inflation back to 2%. This is the goal, this is the mission. We're not done yet. We are working hard, but we also have to compare notes and share our views with others so that we can have really the highest level of confidence that we are taking everything into account. But this is a very inspiring place to do it.
Now, you may remember, this is also where Mark Carney said this, the same wooden fence right there. She's in the same place.
So what's the point?
Give us the thumbnail. Why can't the dollar be the global currency?
Okay, the dollar is the global currency. We know that. The challenge is that the U.S. share of the global economy has been reducing. The dollar's share of payments, not just financial assets, but payments, a lot of payments between countries that have nothing to do with the U.S. are in dollars. And what happens in situations like we're in today, where the U.S. economy, to its credit, is relatively strong, is doing better, And the Fed has been doing the right thing, which is, they've adjusted policy, they tightened policy as it was strengthening. Now they're making, the Fed, they're doing the right thing, but they have adjusted and policy is relatively strong. That means rest of world policy is tighter than it needs to be. And that feeds back on the U.S. economy in a way that ultimately slows this economy. And it leads to a substandard outcome. And in a world where you only have limited policy space, it's a dangerous place to be. And so the trade issues we're talking about are reinforced by the structure of the monetary system. Now, I mean, you've asked a big question, so just give me a second to, but now the issue is, you don't just jump to something new overnight. And what we want in a multipolar world, I think we'd agree that we've got European engine, we've got the Chinese engine, we've got the US engine of this economy. Multipolar world, you need a multipolar currency. The question is, how do you get there? And I laid out some ideas of how you would get there.
And the bottom line, Governor, is that all of the pressure on the different in growth around the world would not fall on the dollar exchange rate.
Yeah.
It would be spread out if it was a global basket of currencies.
It would be spread out as a global basket of currencies. It's better for the system as a whole. It's better. It raises that equilibrium level of interest rates.
Right.
It gives central banks more policy, but it gives people who are watching greater returns on
a basket like an ESDR. Just as a side note, where they were standing, this is video I took standing in the exact same place where they were. And I actually ate at the restaurant there in Jackson Hole where they were standing.
Now that is what you call a view. That is quite the view right there. Grand Tetons.
You heard my 11-year-old at the time. I think he was maybe 8 or 9. A couple of years back that I went there. Grand Tetons is where they took that. Now, I want to show you this. Remember in my last video, Ripple had tweeted this about how tokenization will drive greater global innovation. Well, listen to this.
A portion of the crypto market doesn't really work with the principles that we're looking to kind of support here. And what is kind of shifting is this principle of utility. Jeremy Allaire, who's Circle's CEO, the issuer of USDC, made a lot of comments about this recently, saying that the next age of crypto needs to be the age of utility, where there's real use cases that make sense to people, in their kind of day-to-day lives, things that like Jess is building at checkout.com. And I think that's where we're going to start to see mainstream adoption, is where, whether it's financial institutions saying, there's tokenized securities, or that there's, things that we can traditional products and put them on the blockchain and make it, more efficient and less friction. And, that's from the institutional side. But from the retail side, there needs to be something else to just, trying to make a speculative play. And I think once these assets get a little bit more mature with bringing utility to market, that's where I think that you'll see a lot more kind of foundational kind of, flourishing in a way that
that's when you'll see trillions of dollars coming in.
It really matters to people, as opposed to just the speculation.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. This sure feels planned. Thanks for listening.